Indeed. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Good morning. Good morning. You know, all the time we talk about going to bed early. Just doesn't happen, does it?
Nah.
Just does not happen. And you know what kept me up last night was that just before I went to bed, I was just like browsing through what can I watch? What can I watch? And then I stumbled upon this BBC program called Mr. Loverman. And I've been watching that, but I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody on Mixcloud. Good morning to Craig Romani back again, Melly Mel, Spice Nice, Kimmy Kim, Jax Happy. Gosh, we've got everyone on this morning already. Paulette Redlocks, G Force. And I haven't even got my Mixcloud up yet. I'm just looking at Sharky DJs. So yes, good morning to everybody. I hope you're all well. And also For the Hard Way was on last night, so that didn't help really. We was up watching that stream with you and Freddie G and Frankie Beverly. That was a great one actually. They're always good fun to watch. So
Yeah.
not good on a Monday night, on a school night as well. Got to get myself sorted out. But good morning to you, Sharky DJ. I heard
Good
you already
morning.
talking about Diddy. We haven't even got the day started yet, and Sharky is a little bit obsessed with Diddy. Everybody, I'm just going to let you know that now. I kid you not. This man watches Diddy all day on YouTube and all night. Wolf Michael Fister, good morning to you as well. Yeah, he's on the Diddy watch. He can't he
Diddy
can't get
watch
over Diddy.
definitely. Yeah, I'm just fascinated with somebody who's just so rich and into their lifestyle of coming down from. Could you imagine just being a billionaire, just having everything at your fingertips, and it's just literally snatched away from you, and for the rest of your life, you're possibly going to be in a little cell. And yesterday I was watching a video on the prison that he's in, and it doesn't look good. I seriously I said to myself, if that was me that had so much money and I was in that position, I think I would top myself. I don't think I'd be able to manage the rest of life. I'd stop eating.
Well,
I
at the
just
end of
can't imagine. I mean, for somebody who who had everything at his fingertips. I mean, things that we could only dream of, just snatched away and just put in a 6 by 8 foot cell for the rest of your life.
Well, that comes with the arrogance that makes you
Mm.
believe that you are untouchable. So you try to get away with much as possible. I don't
Hmm.
feel sorry for Diddy at the moment. I really don't. And I believe that he's probably living a nice little life like Weinstein. When you've got money in the bank, you can pay guards off. Guards can be bought off. We know this.
Mm.
And he's probably getting steak. Do you remember watching Goodfellas? Do you not remember watching Goodfellas? In Goodfellas, did it look like they served any proper prison time? They were in a cell all together. They had their steaks, they had lobster, they had wine, they had whiskey, they had everything. P. Diddy's probably
Mm.
got all sorts of things coming in
Yeah.
undercover. He's probably being
But
looked after.
apparently, that particular prison that he's in has got a reputation for being very, very hard and very short-staffed. And from the word that's coming from outside, he's not actually having that kind of life as the people imagine. But we don't know, because there's always a different world behind bars. They do what they want.
Wow,
Ever's
they're
got
not
Diddy's got
exactly.
money, so if he's gonna be looked, I'm sure he'll be looked after.
Well, their lawyers are not going to speculate that he's having a steak and chips every night
Mm.
with a bottle of champagne. So they're going to make him look like he's going through some certain hardship. So don't worry about Diddy.
See, it's not only
Diddy's
me.
all right.
Spice Nice says she's on it as well.
Oh, well, we're all on it. I've been on it since day dot, since the
Yeah,
story
exactly.
started breaking. I've
You,
been reading about Diddy, following Jaguar Wright. Only just recently Jaguar Wright's been followed. I've been following Jaguar Wright from day dot, long time. And I mean, she used to talk about a lot of other people, not just Diddy, but
mm,
obviously she started speaking out more about Diddy, Cassie Ventura, that her lawsuit came out, and that's what did it. That's the start of it. That
that was the
lawsuit
start
that
of it.
Cassie
Yeah.
done. It was the
It's because
lawsuit.
the evidence was there, so it gave them the excuse to go for it. Another person you got to look for is a woman, a girl called Ali Carter, who is supposed to be allegedly the daughter of Tupac, and she was in a home. She has a big story to tell, and now they're starting to take notice of her. So Ali Carter on Instagram, if you follow her, very interested indeed. So it looks like all these top stars are going to coming down, and Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh my gosh, watch this spot.
It's really interesting. It's a difficult one because I mean I was supposed to do a film review yesterday. Okay, Craig Rahman says, "Do you think P Diddy has baby lotion, baby oil? Do you mean? Does he have baby oil in his cell?" The funny thing is,
Baby on himself.
he's probably got lots of people putting baby oil in his cell right now. I have no doubt. And the funny thing is, I was talking to my son the other morning. I was in his bedroom, and I see baby oil on the side, and I said, "You still using baby oil?" He was like, "Yeah, why?" So I just pulled up an article and just showed it to him, and he took it and he put it straight in the bin. It's like just the connotations alone. I can't cope with it anymore. I'm not using it anymore. No, but the reason why I put it in the bin is because of Johnson and Johnson's cancer scare. As you know, Johnson and Johnson have very cancerous projects in their baby powders and so forth, and they're going through several lawsuits with that alone. So I don't want to use any Johnson and Johnson's products. So I don't care if P Diddy was using baby oil. I am not using Johnson's baby oil, baby lotion, or any of their products at all.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this baby oil joke is fun. Every time you see baby oil, you're gonna think about Diddy now. I mean,
It's hard not to. 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I walked in my bathroom, and obviously I don't really use baby oil, but I looked and I saw it there. It's been there for years. I touched and I lifted it up, remember, and I brought it out, and she was sleeping, and I was like,
No, thank you. It's okay.
oh dear.
Doesn't make me feel like I want to use it to moisturize my skin anymore.
Oh dear.
Oh, Diddy, you are in trouble, aren't you? He's in a lot of trouble.
The thing about it is that so he's so far from the world that he actually feels that he's actually going to get away from this charge. He actually thinks that he's actually going to get out. He thinks he's above the law. But I think when reality hits him that he's not coming out again, I think he'll go into a different state of mind.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I watched a few films over the last week or so. One of them was She Said, which is about the two reporters that broke the story on Harvey Weinstein and how it contributed to his downfall, which opened up the way for loads of women to put together lawsuits. So this was kind of like the start of the Me Too movement, where people have just had enough of big Hollywood executives, music, film executives, taking advantage of people that want to break into the industry and that will do anything to be famous, right? That's what P. Diddy and Harvey Weinstein took advantage of. And it was a really good story. She Said on Netflix about the two reporters that started looking into the story. And it was from the New York Times. And it was actually really interesting how they started because they had to dig deep all along the way. None of the women wanted to come forward. Some women spoke about it. They had to track some women down that suddenly left. They found that Harvey Weinstein had paid off up to 12 women to stop them from taking lawsuits, and they couldn't admit to anything. And he owned all sorts of rights. And he was a bit of a giant in that industry. He was deemed untouchable. Miramax was his own company, and everybody was afraid of him. All the girls used to have to give him a massage. And I think after the reporters, I think it was Ashley Judd that decided to come on and have her name used in association with an article that she was written. And then there was another lady that had left quite earlier on. So those two came forward. And when those two came forward, the rest of the doors opened up. Gwyneth Paltrow added to it. And that's what brought down Harvey Weinstein. He's still going through the courts now. I don't really care about him. He needs to languish in jail. But as they said, this is the tip of the iceberg. Absolute tip of the iceberg in regards to what these men have been doing to women in the industry. It's so weird that you don't hear of women take advantage of men. It could be, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not there, but all we know, all we're getting right now is giants, the Jay-Z's, the P. Diddy's. Kanye West has got a whole heap of lawsuits coming up against him as well, people accusing him of whatnots. And I think that some of these stars, when they've gotten into their drunken stupors, they kind of think that they own the world. They can do anything they want, ship in a load of porn stars, and maybe they think that everyone's going to operate like a porn star. I don't know. And try and make every woman submissive to what they want and ply them with drugs. Imagine having to ply someone with drugs to get your own way. Dominance, power at its
It's
highest.
terrible. Ah, HPQ. You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Showing the trend for baby oil sales has gone down.
Has it
You've
actually
holding
gone
it up at the
down?
end. I don't know. I'm actually trying to find the stats and I can't find them. But
Hmm.
obviously Johnson & Johnson will probably release them on a quarterly basis, so we might not have
Mm.
the stats for baby oil, or they might not release it at all. Who knows? The sales may have gone up. Some people probably won't realise the uses of baby oil because I'm still
Mm.
finding when I go in and do some searches in the internet, some people are saying I still don't understand the connection between baby oil and P Diddy. Am I the only one being stupid? So, yeah, some people are not in the know. Some people
Yeah.
are not in the know at all.
Not
So
everybody knows about it.
no, no, I'm sorry, some people don't, but now they do. Now they definitely do. No, I don't mind any of that stuff in supermarkets. In fact, I'll be the one to go in there and be like, babes, well, go up to the manager. Do you have over 1,000 bottles of baby oil? And how much would it cost me to buy a couple of cases or what? And have a serious face. I need to buy out all your baby oil. I'm having a party over the weekend. And I'm
Would
just
you,
restocking up.
would you like to come?
Excuse the pun.
He must probably say, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll bring my own bottle of baby oil with me. Is that okay?
Oh, gosh.
Oh dear, oh dear. We could go on about Diddy news forever. And as I
And a
said,
day.
the film, she said, and don't forget, 50 Cent has got his Netflix documentary in the works at the moment. He's on it. He's not a lover of P. Diddy at all. He didn't
No.
go to any P. Diddy parties, nor did Ice. The only two people I heard didn't go to a Diddy party was Ice Cube and 50 Cent. Other than that, everybody stayed quiet.
Mm.
Very quiet on that. Ashton, the word on the street is that Ashton Kutcher is thinking of leaving Hollywood and going outside. His name has been synonymous with P. Diddy, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah.
If he's
They were
attended
good.
a
They've
party
been,
with everybody else, I
apparently,
don't know
they've been good
why.
friends for many years.
So something going on there with Ashton Kutcher. He's been involved in something. Maybe he's...
I think Diddy's got stuff on all of these people because, the amount of information that's out there, and it's literally coming out in its droves now. And Hollywood has been well known for its slyness and not sly, what's the word? It's sliminess over the years, and you've always heard about actors going to Hollywood and they had to literally sell their soul, and the things that the producers would do to the people that wanted to become actors and actresses, the ladies and the girls, and they went through a lot. So what Diddy's doing is basically, I think, a tip of an iceberg of a more bigger outing that's going to become. I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of these big stars being brought down. It's going to be just madness, absolute madness.
Now, MBE Davy J says, don't forget J-Lo is involved. Of course she's involved.
Yes,
she's the one
we
that
know
carried
that.
the gun. We know
Yeah.
this.
Well,
we
J-Lo,
know this. That's
yeah.
why Ben left her, He's just
Well-
like, you're caught up in this Diddy stuff. Ben probably saw a video with J-Lo.
Mm-hmm.
J-Lo with oodles of baby oil.
Well, the thing about it is, there was a girl who was at the shooting many years ago. I can't remember what her name was. I was reading up on her the other day, and
She was the one that got shot.
she was one of them that got shot, and she basically said that Diddy pulled the gun. He actually took out the gun and he shot. Now, obviously, she's got a lot of fragments in her face that would prove which gun it actually came from, and she's now willing to go through a life-changing or a life-threatening operation to get the fragments out of her body so that it can be proven that Diddy actually pulled a gun at the shooting, which
What?
will involve J-Lo.
Well, I don't know how they're going to prove that because what Diddy did
They've got the
was-
gun.
Yeah, but Diddy said Shine. Shine took the rap for that. Shine went to
That's
prison
right, yeah.
for a long time because they were saying that he had the gun and he fired the shots. So taking fragments out of it is not going to prove that Diddy fired it. So, but basically, what she wants to do is have her day back in court so she can push it back onto Diddy.
Yeah.
But Shine has already been accused and sentenced and paid his time for that crime that they pinned on him, which was actually quite ridiculous. I think everyone knew it was Diddy, but Shine was the fall guy, and
Yeah.
J Lo just got herself out of it.
But
Her music career was on the line.
I just can't understand if she's saying he's the one that pulled the trigger. How did he get away with that? Because if you've got a witness to
They
say, look,
dismissed her. They dismissed her story in court, or they made out that she was a drug addict or something. But
as
her
they do,
testimony didn't stand up to it in court.
it's ridiculous.
I know. Well, we know. And then Diddy was accused of intimidating the jury as well. All sorts of things was going on there. And that's why they've gotten behind bars as well, because they've set the trial date. I think it's going to be for sometime next year. They're looking for around May time for his trial. That's going to be that's better than the presidential race, you know. Watching that's going to be exciting. It's going to be better than O.J. Simpson's trial.
Oh, this year is I'll be following that. I'll tell you, I'll be well versed by the time that trial comes up, you know. And his lawyers have been told you cannot no longer apply for bail again. It's not happening. Don't even try.
Yeah. Bye, Diddy. But Spice Nice says Jaguar mentioned Denzel Washington. Listen, I don't think anybody's devoid of this. And let me just come off the story slightly, because Diddy keeps on dominating our news show.
Yeah.
I watched Mr. Loverman on BBC iPlayer. This is probably part of Black History Month. And it was intriguing because I didn't realise what it was about. I just thought it was going back in time with black families. But basically, it's about a black man who is secretly gay. He's been having an affair with his best friend for over 30, 40 years. I mean, the man's looks like he's in his 70s. And they're obviously from Jamaica. And it looks like his wife kind of knows, or his wife knows that he goes out every night and gets drunk and thinks that he goes out and has women. He thinks that he's a philanderer, womanizer. But he's actually in love with his best friend, and his best friend is in love with him. And it talks about how taboo it is and the dilemma of black people or the older generation being in gay relationships and it being very taboo. And it's an interesting story. There was a difficult scene to watch. You watched it yesterday, didn't you? And you was just like, I can't watch this. But it's a good story. To be quite honest, at first I was like, why are they showing this for Black History? But then I realised there's things that we do not talk about in our community. Right, and there's things that are happening that we turned a blind eye to, that we should no longer do. And you know, I'm going to tackle some of these stories at some point in the virtual couch when that comes back. And for those that don't know, the virtual couch is coming back in November. I've got my guests for the live stories. It's going to be Ewan Briscoe, MC Flux, and I've got a lovely young lady called Unique Taylor who contracted AIDS. HIV, I should say, and she's talking about how she transformed her life, how it changed, and how she kind of hung on to her faith to get her by. She's a black lady, all the people on the show are. So we're talking about subjects like that are not spoken about, because AIDS is not something that's just a white thing, it's an all-colour thing. And we just don't know how to deal with information sometimes and tend to speculate. So it's going to be an interesting chat. And then in December, I've got Afua Rose coming onto the virtual couch. Now, she's controversial in herself. She's gone out there and she's accused many people of being paedophiles. Now, I'm just going to say this very quickly. Afua Rose being on my show isn't about naming and shaming. It's about understanding what her motivations are, what she's doing, and how she feels she's got enough evidence to accuse people like this. And has she ever been wrong? It's going to be an interesting one. But all I'm going to say is that audience is just really going to be to understand what she's doing, how she's doing it, and whether she fears for her life with what she's doing there as well. And we'll leave that right there. The ads for that will come out soon. But there are lots of things in our community, and the reason why I mentioned Afro Rose was because she talks about stuff that's happened when we were younger that sometimes we refuse to talk about, or our families refuse to talk about, or keep behind closed doors. Now, it's happened in my family as well, where the doors have been shut in terms of things that have gone on, things that were known that have gone on as well that we've never spoken about. And I think we should. We need to start talking in our community. It's not about breaking down the family. It's about stopping some of this stuff that goes on.
Yeah, definitely. Like your chat.
Yes, Pete, nice. Don't worry, I'll send you all the links after the show. I'll send you the links nearer the time. I'll sort that all out and we'll talk. But good to see you, sir. He's going to be coming on the couch with MC Flux. It was like the author of the book. The book was about MC Flux, his life as a soccer hooligan and a reformed drug addict, and how he made it really big on the dance scene. And Mr. Pete Nice was his best bud, and sat down and wrote the book. He's got a sequel coming out as well. And not only that, he's an author of his own, The Swordsman of Mayfair, I think your book is, Pete. So he's an acclaimed author as well. And we'll get those details out also. But good to see you in the morning here. Good morning to you. I'm wearing a jumper this morning. I wish I didn't. It gets really hot when you're doing the news and all this lights and everything. But yeah, I think we should come off the Diddy Watch. We'll have it every week. We'll bring
let's
you
come
stories
off the
and
Diddy
news.
Watch and talk about something else now.
Yeah, but
we could talk about Diddy all day long.
I know, but Steve Harvey as well. He's just as arrogant as Diddy, and very powerful in the industry that he was in as well. And my goggles are off now in looking at people thinking that butter wouldn't melt in their mouth. Oh no, it couldn't be Denzel Washington or it couldn't be Steve Harvey. Everyone's out there now. That's it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many secrets. And one of the things that the guy was saying on that BBC iPlayer program is that he watches people and he says, how many people do you think are married and are undercover or in the closet? That's a dangerous thing, isn't it? Getting married and saying that this is what you like and it isn't really what you like. That's so unfair. Be open. I like this open world now. Just tell it like it is. I don't like women. There you go. All right, see you later, babes. Or we'll live in the house together or pay the mortgage and you do what you want to do. I don't care. Whatever. But, be honest. That's what the world should be. It's all about honesty. And I think if we had a little bit more honesty, we wouldn't have all this craziness that's going on.
Do you know what the funny thing is what I'm finding now is that, we live in this cuckoo world. We're down here. You've got different levels of life, and like P. Diddy's up there. So when you look at the people like P. Diddy, Beyonce, all the famous people that, we know, even the footballers, right, that are up there, you put them in this bubble and they've got this image that you just think is like so innocent that butter would not melt in their mouth. So when you hear about something, with all these things with Jay-Z, Jagger White going on about Jay-Z, and you think to yourself, no, Jagger White, Jay-Z, maybe Jay-Z, but not Beyonce, I mean. But we just don't know because you're not in that circle. And, you see films in Hollywood like The Circle, and, you get these different walks of life, especially like some of the futuristic film. And it seems like these films are based on reality, but we don't know that.
There's a lot of undercover stuff. Pete Knight said, old-time people used to say, what sweet nanny go to run him belly? P. Diddy should have listened. G-Force says, a lot of comedians don't like Steve. No, he stepped on a lot of people to get where he was.
Yeah,
and Spice Nice says, there definitely needs to be more honesty. And Kimmy Kim says, I can't stand Steve Harvey. But it feels like this is like lawsuit century. It really is, because everybody has something against them. Kanye West has got lawsuits against him. He's been accused of Bianca Censori, his wife, as being the orgy coordinator. Right? That he wants to sleep with his mum, that he had fantasies about Kim Kardashian's mum, Kris Jenner. Mbappe, footballer. Talk a little bit about football. He's accused of rape in a Swedish hotel as police open the investigation. Now, Mbappe blasted the report as fake news about an alleged rape where he was staying with friends last week. But this Swedish newspaper claims Mbappe, who's been investigated by the police, allegations were made against the Real Madrid star. It's all coming out. It's claimed the alleged rape took place on Thursday. And earlier that night, he had visited the restaurant before heading to a nightclub and finally back to his hotel in a black van with his entourage. Now, he shared this newspaper article about this alleged rape and said it's fake news. But a hearing, that's something else. A hearing is taken tomorrow, part of his fight against unpaid wages. But he's saying it's fake news. Is it true or is it not true? Let's see what happens, what's coming out. later on in the
That's
press.
going to be a big one for the football because he is a massive, massive star. Like I say, people need to realize that these footballers that are coming up, many of them come from the lower walks of life, like the levels of us, and they get money. They've been built up, and they become these stars. And when they become these stars, you've got to realize if you're a roadman and you're a good footballer, you're a roadman, you'll always be a roadman. It doesn't matter how much money you got, no matter what you look like, you will always be a roadman. If that is what you've been brought up as. And even if you get the money and you become rugged, you just become more efficient at what you do. And some of these stars, where they come from, so I'm not saying Mbappe, he's a roadman, but, you never know. They just
It
think
doesn't
they're
matter.
above, they start to think they're above the law.
I'm telling you, and it's so prevalent in the industry. What is it about drugging women? What is it about having loads of women? What is it about being so perverse? It's like the power, money, and perverseness goes hand in hand. The more money you have, the more out there it becomes. And someone said it quite eloquently. I think it was Jag. You were right. When you've had every single prostitute, every single sex, whichever way you want, you look for something higher. So normal doesn't do it for you. It's got to be dominating. It's got to be a boy, a man. It gets higher and higher. The bar moves. Elon Musk is in there as well, the little cokehead that he is. He just looks like a drug addict. Every time I look at him, he just looks like he needs help, a hospital, and several IV drips for a couple of months. He looks rugged, honestly.
Ah,
People like that run, they don't run on pure energy. They run on high levels of drugs. Same like P. Diddy. Same like him. These
yeah.
high-powered individuals. You should not let so much power. Somebody have so much power. It's just crazy. But another story I want to bring to you that's always been interesting. G4 says, so, Sharky, are you still a roadman?
Listen,
Roadman Sharky.
he was he's one of my best mates. I won't say he was. He is one of my best mates, right?
I can't see Sharky as a roadman. I can lots of things I can see Sharky as, but not a roadman.
I love that. What was that comment from Craig? It says any form of abuse will continue when good people will know what's going on and saying nothing. That's
Yeah.
very, very. That's a very true comment there. That is such a true comment. Well done, Craig, with that one. Any form of abuse will continue when good people know what's going on and say nothing. Yes. Very, you know what? That's actually something that actually I could put on my Facebook.
Yeah, that includes families, that includes
Yeah.
stars,
Do
everybody.
you know what? I'm
When
going
you
to.
know and you keep quiet, you should not keep quiet when abuse is going on.
Craig, I'm going to take a photo of that and put that on my Facebook.
There you go, Craig. Thanks for joining. Thank you.
I like that one. Any form of abuse will continue when good people know what's going on and say, that's a good one. That is such a good one. Love it.
Now, talking about abuse, okay, and we're not talking about women now. We're talking about a child, and this story has piqued my interest due to what's happened to the child. And I hate stories like this. Baby P, who was the other, Victoria Climby, all of these children that have died at the hands of being in care and having parents such as this that are allowed to abuse them. But the latest story has disturbed me for several reasons and how this girl was treated. I don't know. It's on the same stage as Baby P, I would say. But Sarah Sharif, the little girl that was killed by her parents, then the dad ran away to Pakistan. I think he got an extradition order and now he's back facing court. But she was burned with an iron. She was tied to a heating pipe and suffered bite marks and bruises. And she had 10 separate fractures in the week before her death.
Wow.
And
That
it
sounds
was
like-
estimated that some of the fractures were at least 6 weeks old. Can you imagine that? Whilst others were fewer than 10 days old. I mean, it looked like that she had been strangled in the weeks before her death. And there were even more disturbing types of injury. It looks like he took an iron and burnt her buttocks with the iron and just left it. She was tied up to a hot pipe. And he told police that she was naughty, saying, I beat her up. It wasn't my intention to kill her, but I beat her up too much. And she was found dead. If you see the little girl, cute little girl. And he battered her. He actually battered her body. She had 5 bite marks on her lower arm, one on her inner left thigh, which indicated the teeth had been dragged across her skin.
God.
I know, I know. And you can see how painful some of these injuries were as well. It's devastating to think that the mother was around and kind of allowed that to happen as well.
Yeah.
It said the iron was placed on the large area of the sole on the right buttock and the tip reaching over to the left. So it looks like he got the iron and pressed it. Oh, gosh.
Gosh.
And his whole family fled on August the 9th last year, leaving the body of his daughter behind following a brutal campaign of violence lasting weeks.
Gosh. Some sad stories we can hear about. But I never understand how people can just be so evil to someone who can't protect themselves.
Let's play a track.
Chicken, but the chicken paid off. It paid off.
You as a chicken was your Sharky DJ. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. I just meant to get
Sorry,
another
I
cup
can't
of
hear
tea.
you. Oh, yeah, go on.
And that story was quite disturbing. I hate, allegations and abuse against women is still a tough story, but children is another one.
Mm-hmm.
And the abuse against children still continues as well, and that's something that needs to be sorted out also. So Sarah Sharif, that's a very, very sad story, as well as all the others that we've had over the years. I just wish we could do so much more for our children. I wish we could do better as human beings. I really do. I despair at times, I really do. But yes, young Philly, he has been charged with rape allegations in Australia. It's all going on. It's all kicking off.
He's been released, hasn't he? Hasn't he been released? Is he allowed to leave the country? I don't think he can.
His show's been cancelled. He was arrested in Brisbane on Tuesday and extradited to Perth the following day to attend a court hearing. So, it's difficult these days because now we're trying to sift between the truth and the money seekers. Because there's going to be a number of women seeking money, opportunists. We know that they exist. One door opens and the floodgate opens for anyone just to say, he touched me. Rape. Abuse.
Yeah.
So where do you draw the line against allegations such as to what's going on? But all I know is that we need to bring the proper perpetrators to justice. And that's all I'm going to focus on right now. And in the news every week. We're going to have Diddy Watch, of course, and anybody else watch, whoever's coming up in the news, because they're all coming out. They are all coming out. But yes, young Philly, as you guys were talking about, has been accused of rape. And we'll watch that story more as it goes on, because I'm sure he's not going to be the only one. There are more and more coming out every time I look at a newspaper. Now, another story that we're going to talk about. We were listening to this on LBC in the car, and I think the ad breaks is coming up soon. So I'll start this, and maybe we could talk about this afterwards. But they're talking about reparations.
Oh, yes.
Reparations. Should the UK government pay reparations to black people over the slave trade? Now, there was a phone-in on LBC, and obviously people had their different stories. You had one man or one woman talk about, no, I don't think so. Why should they? I mean, it was ages ago. What's it got to do with me? Why have I got to pay it? And, what's it going to do for people now? Well, it's going to, readdress the balance. That could be one. We were left in poverty, left low, almost like lower level down the food chain, and we've had to fight for everything. We're not landowners. We're not business owners. And why is that? That's not because we're lazy or don't have the intelligence to do it. That's because landowners were these rich. It's been. I think land is inherited. It stays within the family.
It stays within the family, yeah.
Stays within the family. So all these original slave owners that had this land and pillaged from other people.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, no matter how rich a person of color becomes, they will never get to the top because there's been a ceiling that they can get to, and that is it. Above it, that's always going to be the control, the lawmakers, religion, everything that control the media is going to be right above.
Eton. And
People,
St
yeah, that went
Andrews
to it, and that,
University.
yeah, exactly. So, they're never ever going to get above that. It doesn't matter how many billions or trillions that they own, they're never going to be powerful enough to get into that position.
Because we come as one and we don't come as a collective. As a
Mm,
collective, we're so much more stronger, but we're not. You
we're
get
not.
one person
Mm,
that comes in. We need to be more of a collective that push through that glass ceiling,
mm,
that say, here we are as a conglomerate.
yeah.
P. Diddy, for all the money he had, he could have set up a black bank 10 times over.
Mm.
Him, Jay-Z, Denzel, Steve Harvey, Martin Lawrence, Kevin Hart, all of these
Will
people that are
Smith, all
earning
the, yeah.
money in this industry could have done so much more together. Instead, Jay-Z decides to put a streaming thing together for black music, but he's still raking in money, and I still wonder what he's doing for his people. I still wonder, how much money do you really need to always
You
to
don't.
live? Do you need 650 million to live a good life? Do you need to keep 650
Listen,
million in the bank?
I have 1 million. I live a good life, I tell ya. I wouldn't want any more than that.
Even 1 million would be fine, but
Even
for 2
500.
millions, I'd
Just
rather
give
go
me
to 2 or 3,
500,000.
just to make sure.
Listen, if I was to even get 500,000 like cash just given to me right now, I'd make use of that and live a good life and
It's so
happy life.
it's so funny because I always used to talk about the lottery. I'd
Mm.
win if I won 500,000, I'd be happy with that. And then you start calculating and you think, well, actually, it should be 1 million. And then, 2 million, and then I can look after my family and have a nice house. And it starts to go
Go
up.
up and up and up. But I think the more money that people get is the more, um, you know, greedy they get. They start to think, about themselves, and I don't know. I think they say money is the root, or the love of money is the root of all evil, and I truly believe that.
Yes, and very quickly before we go to the ad break. So number 10 said reparations were not on the agenda and the government would not pay them.
Mm.
They said they have never paid reparations and they're not going to start. But what
Mm.
happened to the slave owners that they gave money back to? Wasn't it 300 million in today's money when slavery was abolished? Come
Yeah.
on, UK. If
Hmm.
they got reparations, why can't we? I'll leave it as that. We'll come back to that.
Absolutely. Gonna take a break, come back and say good morning to those who are on GY Radio Live. This is
1921, we wasn't even
I know.
alive then.
Maybe I was, maybe I just had a flashback.
Reincarnated, maybe. You never know.
Reincarnated, yeah.
I do believe in reincarnation. I do believe we come back as something else. We are not here just once. We
That's
are
why you
here more
mustn't
than
kill
once.
spiders and insects.
I
and-
try not to, actually. If I see spiders in my bedroom, I don't trip out. I just leave them. They'll crawl somewhere. If I eat one, well, maybe it's doing some good for me. Who knows? Saying about food, you remember we were talking about goat's balls last week? And my
Nearly made
sister
me
said
spit out
she's...
my coffee there. Be careful when you say these
And
things
you
when
know,
I'm
my
drinking.
sister said she eats goat's balls when she's in Jamaica. I swear to God, I tried to get some because I think they did look nice. I want to eat some goat's balls, so I'm trying to find them at the moment. But what I did have yesterday was I had some whelks because I like snails, right? I'm a big fan of French food and whelks are sea snails. So I cooked that yesterday for dinner. You guys had lamb and all whatever. I wanted seafood, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I might have to get some more. And before I come to my next article, HPQ, fry up the spider. Listen, I'm not averse to food. I will try anything once, just once. And if it tastes good, I'll try it again. If it doesn't, I will put that on my list to say I've tried it. It doesn't suit me. Not at all. So G4 says, how do we make donations? That will come all in. It's in the ad, but it's paypal.me/HPQ giving. Plus, you can tip on Mixcloud as well. There's all sorts of ways
Yeah.
to donate
But
money. You can
rather
send it
you-
straight to our bank accounts if you want to. Maybe I'll put that detail up there as well,
Yeah.
which might make it easier for donations and avoid all the fees,
The fees,
that we
yeah.
need to pay.
'Cause when
And
we go
when you
through
can
Mix-
release money.
When we go on Mixcloud, we have to pay some of that money to Mixcloud. So we want all the money to go to charity. So I'd rather it go straight into the PayPal. But it's very transparent. Sorry, HBQI. Spoke over you there.
Absolutely. No,
Makes
you
a
didn't
change.
at all. It's so true. Sometimes you have to shut me up, people. But anyway, coming on with some news. Now, I'm an avid swimmer. Really, I am. I love swimming. I've always loved swimming since a young age. But, when you go swimming and you get in the pools, anywhere, whether you go into a health spa or a proper swimming pool, you've always got that smell that hits you, right? That chlorine pool smell. That's when you know you're in a swimming pool. It's that chlorine smell. But where does that smell come from? Everybody seems to think that it's chlorine. It's the chlorine in the water why you've got that smell. But we had a young scientist, not a young scientist, we had a man that did an experiment on TikTok to give you the truth about where this chlorine smell comes from in swimming pools, right? And this is the truth. And the pungent smell that we smell kind of reassures us to say that it's killing all the germs in the swimming pool and it's okay to swim in. We don't swallow the water. I hope you don't swallow the water, everybody. Do not do that. But it reassures us that there's chemical in the pool that's killing all the germs in there. All right? But where does the smell actually come from? Now, people think it was from chlorine. It's not from chlorine. Now, he did an experiment where he had 2 buckets and he filled water in both the buckets and he put the concentrate of chlorine in both the buckets also. And then he took some urine and he put it in one of the buckets, left it for 24 hours to fester. And what happened? Bucket A, that had chlorine in it, no pee, no urine, sorry, didn't smell of anything. Bucket B, that had the chlorine and the urine in it, smelt that pungent smell. So basically, when you go into a swimming pool, with you thinking, oh, chlorine smell, the swimming pool's clean, it's a reaction to the sweat and the urine that it picks up. That's where
Yuck.
the smell comes from. Kimmy Kim says, yeah, HPQ, please don't say what you're going to say. I'm saying it. That chlorine smell is a mixture of the sweat and urine. The combination of that releases that chemical smell from chlorine. So you know when they say before you go into the swimming pool, have a shower. I always shower before I go into the swimming pool, by the way. I really do. And I don't pee in the water. I find it disgusting because I'm a swimmer and I don't want to. If I don't want to drink my own, I'm not drinking anybody else's. So
You've got no choice if you're swimming.
Well, I know. But I'm just saying that just as, hoping that other people will follow my lead. Yeah. So bucket A, that had just had chlorine in it and no pee, didn't smell of anything. Bucket B, that had chlorine and the urine in it, smell of that strong, pungent smell of chlorine. So yeah, people.
They've got to be a bright side to this, right? So, and I always like to look on the bright side of something. So with germs, obviously, the more your body gets used to certain germs and these sort of things, you become more immune to getting disease and stuff like from it. So maybe if you do it a lot, your body.
Basically, they're saying, why does sweat and urine give chlorine a strong smell? Well, chlorine, when added to water, releases 2 chemicals that help kill the waterborne germs. One is called hypochlorous acid, and the other is called hypochlorite ion. Now, together, these chemicals are known as free available chlorine. And when it comes into contact with sweat, oils, and urine, it is reduced to form chloramines, which is the smell that's formed in pools with the reaction of this hypochlorite acid with ammonia, which is a component of sweat and urine, if anyone got that. So basically, sweat and urine produces that smell in the water. I knew you'd like that one. I knew everybody would like that one.
There you go. For all you swimmers out there, like HPQ, she's a swimmer.
At least you know what you're swimming in a swimming pool and you can see it. You can see everything around you. In the sea, you don't know what you're surrounded by. Because don't forget, raw sewage is pumped into our seas, right? From most countries. So even though the salt might be doing something with it, taking it away somewhere, but it's coming back somewhere. The water we drink is just water that's just gone through so many filters. How do we know it's not sewage water that they're really pumping into us?
When you're in the sea, right, people can just pull their thing down because you can't see it and they can just do it in the sea and you don't even know and you just right next to it. Right? You could be floating a log and the log come and hit you and, you're doing all this. So... But I would imagine those kind of things. If it's sewage and all that, you must be swimming in all kinds of...
We are.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm telling you. It's a bit like, you know what really disturbs me? And I'll come back to G-Force's comment in a minute. What really disturbs me is that we buy cans in a supermarket. You guys, have you ever thought about this? You buy cans of drinks in supermarkets, right? They've been sitting on shelves, collected dust, all sorts of things, gone through so much transportation. We open the can, pop it open and start drinking from it. Who does that? When you get a Red Bull, you go to a shop, you buy a Red Bull, you just pull up a thing and you just pour it into your mouth. How many people wipe off the top? How many people take disinfectant and take it all off? So you can talk about germs and things till the cows come home. We are induced with germs all the way through from when we wake up in the morning till when we go to bed at night. And it's about how your body can best fight against
Deal
them,
with it, yeah.
or how clean you want to be. But they're all around us. Now, very quickly, G4 says... I think he said the man was a joker. As soon as you open the bucket, you can get the strong smell, and sometimes it burns your eyes. Don't get confused between chlorine gas and the chlorine that's used in swimming pools. So chlorine gas has a very strong, pungent smell, and its odor is similar to bleach or ammonia. So that's what you're talking about. But the chlorine that's used in swimming pools is a chemical compound called chloramides. Right? Look it up on Google. This is not no rumor. This is not no TikToker looking for some likes. Look it up on Google. It's very, very true. That smell is associated with the fact with sweat, oils, and urine. I'll make that clear. It's not going to let me stop swimming. Just going to have to think about, put goggles over your eyes. Don't make all that water seep in. And close your mouth. Breathe through your nose. Don't swallow no water. You know, sometimes we feel like you're drowning, you start gasping and panicking, and you swallow a couple. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Blow water out. Don't swallow it down.
If I do go swimming, I'm going to get one of those things that go over your nose to squeeze the nose together if I can find one big enough.
Well, you need to breathe out your nose. Some swimmers breathe out their nose as well. I do underwater. Well, not breathe out my nose, breathe through my mouth, actually, to help. But yes. Sorry, people. Kimmy Kim says, Sharky DJ, no, not happening anymore. So you're never going to go swimming in the sea. You're not going to go swimming in a swimming pool, not in a spa or anywhere. You're not going to drink any cans of Coke or drinks in the supermarket. But there
was something I remember reading about many years ago about the bottles that we drink from. You know, when they pop the bottles in, there was things that was covered in it. And, you know, another thing with people... It's like when we go to eat at restaurants, we never know if these forks and the knives that we eat from are clean, right? And the glasses that they give us a drink on. How much times have you picked up a glass, they've given you a glass and it's still got lipstick on it? You know, how long has that lipstick been there? And things like that. So
or it's
I
still
always
got
check.
The little freckles of washing on it.
That's one thing I always do. Wipe my, take a cloth and wipe down, put a bit of water in and try and clean as best I can. But you know what? It's there. It's there.
I know. I see people. It always amuses me, some people's cleanliness habits, because I see them go to restaurants to get the knives and forks and wipe it off with a tissue. You think a dry piece of tissue is going to take off the germs off of a knife and a fork? You need to get that in a wash with some washing up liquid, rewash it, or bring your own cutlery. But don't think getting a cloth and wiping that off means that all the germs have gone. It's not gone.
You know what I mean? No, you got to take something. It just makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's self-reassurance. That's what it is. It's self-reassurance.
I feel better with you myself. Yeah.
But I don't see you getting the plate where the food's coming on it and wiping the plate off. You know what I mean?
You got no choice then, have you?
Yeah, and then you're picking up the salt and pepper, which has been handled by so many people. You're picking it up with your hands and you're pouring that over your food, and then you're touching your face afterwards. Come on, people. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Some people have the epitome. I love it when I watch people clean their knives and forks. I'm going to think, well, what else are you going to touch and put on your face? So you're going to wipe everything? You're going to wear a mask? You can't rid yourself of all germs. All you got to make sure you do is that your immune system is working on point to combat this. And I always used to say this to children. I had one of my cousin's children, and she was like, she's only going to be eating organic food and germ-free. Everything got wiped down. And the poor child had a plethora of illnesses growing up because her body wasn't used to not having any germs. So whenever any germs got into her, her whole body would shut down. She'd be ill, colds every time. No.
You need some germs, don't
some
we?
Germs.
Yeah. Some
germs. Not all germs, but you need some germs.
Yeah, we need. Now, that's what I was told, because I actually don't know personally, but I was told that he had passed away. So I kind of hope it's not true, but allegedly, I should say.
Okay. Well, good morning to everybody. I'm glad that people are enjoying the stories and everything. I could do a little bit of extra time today, which is unusual because normally I've got to lock off quite early.
I was waiting for you to come out. I said, come out, let me just play my music. Let me get on with my music. Go on, get on, come out to business.
No, well, I've got some stuff that I want to cover this week that I want to make sure I get out on the news. And we've done with the serious stuff. We're on to kind of like the banter and the fun
The
stuff.
fun stuff, yeah. Let's.
Fun stuff now. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney. They dominated the news last year with Wagatha Christie. And Rebecca Vardy actually sued Colleen Rooney for defamation because Colleen accused her of revealing all of her secrets and things that she was doing to the press. And Rebecca Vardy said, it's not me. They went to court. Rebecca Vardy lost. She was ordered to pay Colleen Rooney's legal fees of 1.5 million. Oh, eye-watering 1.5 million. 90% of that case was 1.5 million. That's absolutely ridiculous. But then Vardy went back to court to say it's too much. We've had her lawyer dining in Nobu and staying 6 nights at some expensive hotel like the Savoy. We want these expenses reduced. The judge said. The judge must have stuck his 2 fingers up at Rebecca Vardy and went, nope, we don't even think they're excessive. They are legal, they are legit, and you must pay it. And for the benefit of that, another 100,000 has been slapped on top of that 1.5 million bill.
Wow.
So Rebecca Vardy has got a lot of money to pay, and she needs to stop now. She needs to stop. You know, you and your publicist did this, right? I watched the court drama case on TV, and yeah, she planned it. She planned everything, sitting behind Colleen Rooney at one of the World Cups, everything. She staged it all. She wanted to be famous. She wanted to be in the spotlight, and there she's got her 10 minutes of fame. But she did the wrong thing messing about with Mrs. Wagatha Christie. But the spin to the story is, and smart woman that she is, and every person should do this, she patented the term Wagatha Christie. So if any newspaper, news article, or anything mentions it, she's getting paid out.
Wow.
Well, she needs the money, doesn't she? So she's got to do everything she can do. 1.5 million. She needs to go on all them shows now. You're going to see Rebecca Vardy on all these reality TV shows now because she has to earn her money. Now, the first up is Colleen Rooney. Obviously, she's got a bill to pay too. She's going on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. She's just been signed up. Apparently, she's been paid 1.5 million. So that will pay off legal fees and leave some money in the bank. I'm sure they need the money because Wayne is gambling all the money all the time. I don't even know if he's still gambling, but you know, she's had a bit of a car crash of a marriage as well with her husband drinking, picking up old ladies, young women, getting in minis, crashing, all sorts. It's been brilliant. I hate the fact that he's a good boy now. It's just like, well, where's the news? I want something about, you know, Wayne Rooney. What's he doing now?
No,
you know, it's so sad. So sad. But yes, Rebecca Vardy has trademarked Wagatha Christie, and she owes 1.5 million, 1.6 million now. Another 100,000 just to take it to court. Come on, girl. Give it up.
Give up yeah.
Now. Give it up. Now, the other thing is, right, is that we all know that we have nostalgic items. Now, I'm never, ever going to have something in my possession that's going to be worth any money because I chuck everything away. If I haven't used it in 5 years, it's going in the bin. But sometimes it's so good to keep items, you know, because they will be worth something along the line. The only thing I've got that I think will be worth money is Madonna's sex book. I've got the original metal case sex book. So I'm waiting for her to pass so it will just rise up in value and I can sell it and make some money. All right. So, but, you know, you should be keeping items way back when because they're going to be of some value at some other point. Now, I've found this article that says 10 things you owned in the 90s that are now worth a small fortune. So dig deep, people, and find this stuff. Remember the Furbies? Remember that toy, the Furby?
The Furbies, yeah.
It was one of the sought-after toys of the 90s. And if you happen to have an original Furby or a limited edition or a rare one or you never took it out of the case, it's worth as much as
Furby,
175.
I'm trying to remember that one.
The Furby toy? Let me see if I can...
So I'll look it up. Go on,
have a look at Furbies, people. It was one of those talking toys, I think it was. It was one of those talking toys. But as much as £175 if it's in its original box. So yes, an original 1998 Furby went for
Oh yes, yes.
£527 on eBay just a few weeks ago. So they are sought after. If your children have got any in the loft or somewhere, find them. Pokemon cards are worth a
Oh,
small fortune
Pokemon,
now.
yeah.
They were big business.
Mm.
CNN reported in 2022 that a super rare 1999 Pokemon base set Shadowless First Edition card sold for £420,000,
Wow.
setting an all-time record. Harry Potter First Edition, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, originally published in June 1997. If you were one of the first people to buy a copy of the original novel, you got a small treasure. They could fetch as much as 22,000 up to 38,000, that book, because only 500 copies of that edition was only printed. So you could have some money on your hands. Super Mario Bros. Game. Remember that? We used to
Yeah.
play that all the time. Back in 2020, a sealed copy of the Super Mario Bros. 3 went for $156,000. That's £119,000 in UK money at auction.
Wow.
And then a few months later, The Verge reports an unused copy of the original game sold on a collectibles website for a cool 1.5 million. Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Your old Disney VHS tapes as well.
I
They
was waiting for you
are,
to say that, the tapes.
yeah. A rare edition of 101 Dalmatians, still sealed in packaging, was sold for £15,000. It also depends on what
I ain't got that
condition
one.
the tape is in. Polly Pocket dolls as well. They are making a pretty penny. Beanie Babies as well are in the top 10. Do you remember Tamagotchis? Who remembers a Tamagotchi?
Mm.
Remember the little game thing, and it was like an egg, and you had to sit with it
Oh
to make sure
yes,
the egg
yes.
and feed
Yeah,
it
to
every
feed
day.
the
And
egg.
parents used to take it into
Oh
work
yes,
because the
yes.
kids couldn't take it into school. The
I think I got. I
Tamagotchis.
think I got one of them somewhere.
Oh my god! Well, they are
I remember
fetching
them.
around £4,000 for original Tamagotchis. So you
Yeah, I
need to
remember
dig
them. I
deep and
remember
find
them.
them.
Yeah.
Even original Happy Meal toys as well are an investment in themselves. So guys, have a look in your loft, dig deep, and see what you can find in terms of toys. You're sitting on a little gold mine there. I had several Tamagotchis. I really wish I kept some of this stuff now. I'm gutted. I haven't.
So I think you got people thinking that there's a lot of money in the loft, but
Do you know,
as
I
you
had to
said,
refresh my Mixcloud. I didn't get any of that chat. I hadn't had any chat for about 17 minutes. So thank you so much for reading that out.
I must
One of the
say, Mixcloud need to sort themselves out, because that happens sometimes. Is that you're there, and I'm like, sometimes I'm looking, I'm at a program, I'm thinking, how comes there's nothing going on, and it's active, and I refresh it, and then woof, all this chat comes. You think they need to sort themselves out. They really need to sort it out by now.
They do. And Kimmy Kim said, I don't understand how Rooney got women because he's butters. Money talks,
Money
baby
talks.
girl. Money talks.
Yeah.
Money talks. All I keep saying is, if Chris Eubanks can get married, wow. Anything could happen. If Wayne Rooney could get married, you don't see looks, you see dollar signs. That's what you see, dollar signs.
Dollar signs and wine, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be honest with you, it is a lot of things. I think is about money, and Al Pacino, right, is 84 years old, and Al Pacino has just been made a new dad. He's 84 years old.
Oh wow.
How is it still working?
Well, it can work, just because they get old, it doesn't mean that it stops. As long as the blood flow runs well,
I'm talking about, us women go through the menopause, right? Between the ages of 40 and 50. And so our eggs disappear and go. And I'm assuming that the male starts to lose sperm count as he gets older. Why has he still got virile sperm at the age of 84? What's he got that everybody
Well,
else hasn't got?
there was a guy, that is age, 90 something, got somebody pregnant. 90 something years, got so many children. I can't remember. I've read the story. And he was in his 90s. So there's hope for us guys, man. We can get out there and keep it going.
my God. I mean, the baby's 16 months old. Obviously, he didn't
Mm,
have him at 84, but he was 82, 83. Well, I
mm.
mean, you can't look after a child at 82, 83. You're supposed to be having your grandchildren, not a newborn baby.
I agree with you on that one. Agree with you
At that age,
100%.
don't you just need sleep? What are you
And what's,
doing?
when the child gets into the age of like 15 and 16, and it's like your dad's like 100 and, if he's alive at that time. But you know what? On a serious note, is it unfair to the child? Would you say?
It's a conversation worth having, especially when women decide that they want to have a child and they've had all their life in a career, and at
Mm,
the age of 55, 60, suddenly I want a baby. I don't
mm,
have a man, so I'm going to have one. And I just think, is it right? Who are we to say that there's an age to have children? I mean, we all know that. I mean, girls start
mm.
puberty from the age of 14, 15, which means, or start their periods from whatever
Yeah,
age, which means once you start your periods, it means that you are capable of having children.
yeah.
Um, and I think what we do is that there was years ago, we were putting our careers first, then have children afterwards. It kind of changed. We
Mm.
in our parents' era was to have children, get married, no career. Then it switched over to like women power, like forget having children, have a career,
Mm.
and think about having children at 40, 45, which means that your egg ovulation is at such a lower capacity. We're supposed to be having children in our 20s or teens because our bodies are actually ready for it. May that be controversial or not. But who is anyone to say when they should or should not be having children? The
True.
world makes it utterly impossible sometimes to make proper decisions. I could easily stay at home and have kids, but who's going to look after me? Look after them? The government's not doing it, so it forces us out to work and all sorts of things. And
Get yourself a
sometimes,
good husband, darling.
yeah, well, where are they? Ladies, agree with me. Where are all these good husbands? There's few and far between, right? Few and far between, and some people still have to share those few and far between husbands. You know what I mean? Got themselves spread out all over the place. Come on. Anyway, so Kimmy Kim says Robert De Niro had this year as well. I think it's unfair for the children because the father might not live to see the child turn 10. Men's sperm don't age like women's eggs.
No,
Oh, we'll
forever
have to
young.
find out about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe so. Maybe men are a lot more virile and their sperm just keeps on going. Maybe that accounts for some things. Maybe we
Mm.
understand some things. Yeah, that
Oh,
puts some more meaningful.
Yoma says men can reproduce with the help of doctors and drugs that help them produce sperm, but women have to bear the brunt of raising those children. Imagine an older mate trying to identify with them.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that if you have a baby with Robert De Niro at 84, how long's he going to last? Like you
Mm.
don't, you're going to have all his money. That's why the women do it. It's almost like a pension for them. I've
Mm.
got a child with them. If they die or whatever, I'm going to get a part of his estate and money. I'm going to be looked after.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
34. I don't even know how old the wife is or the mother. I don't know. But all I just think is, if you're in your 30s and you're with an 80-year-old, how much fun is that? What is it he's going to do? Go
Yeah, it
ice
might be
skating,
fun.
roller skating, partying every night? I
Some
don't
eight
know.
years. Listen, did you see my post of the post I put up of my 95-year-old uncle, Jamaica?
Yeah.
You see him like 95 and he's still just lifting and everything. So in my family, he still keep young.
Oh,
He's still
damn.
my 95-year-old. I'm not
Every
lying.
old damn.
My 95-year-old. I ain't gonna lie. When I played at his 90th birthday party, he was on the dance floor from the start to the end. People were sitting down. He's there by himself dancing. I just stood there watching him dance, and he's now 95, 5 years later, and he's playing his music and he's there dancing and everything, and he still drives. He still goes up. He still lifts all the heavy water because he gets his water from a spring out in the country. So he drives out and gets it from the spring, lifts it up and brings it back to town. That's what he drinks. And apparently that spring is like a spring of life because the people in that village, they live to sort of 90 to 110 average. So
You're gonna outlive me, Sharky.
I'll tell you what, whenever I go to Jamaica, I have to go to that spring and I fill up, and that's the only water I try to drink when I'm there. It's absolutely lovely.
Yeah, that's going to be Sharky at 95. He's going to be in some dance in the back, salsering or
South in
dancing.
the way.
Yeah, with his glass of wine still.
You be there with me.
Got a great story to come back to. Stay locked on the Breakfast Flight Show. We're talking about something that's curved or bent. Oh, there's stories. Lovely Leah, I can't believe that Chris Eubanks is your kind of man. Maybe it is the nose that's appealing. It's got to be. It can't be much. Is he intelligent, or does he try to believe he's intelligent? He uses big words, and I'm not even quite sure he uses them in the right context. So the jury's out with him. He's not my kind of man. Although I do like Chris Eubanks. I do like him.
He's a
Would I
character,
date
isn't he?
him? No, I couldn't look up that nose all day. That would drive me nuts. No, couldn't do it.
But he's
like
quite a character.
He is a character. He's definitively a character. And I remember actually there was an article. I wish I had it now. Oh, it was like a meme of this is what Beyonce sees when Jay-Z's like on top of her.
Yeah,
He
I've
always
never
saw
seen
these
that one.
big lips. And a
That was
nose.
funny. That was funny.
It was too funny. It was too funny. Willow, you're certainly making an appearance today. She's jumped all over me and wants
And it's
comfort.
do you know what makes me laugh with Willow? It's always at the same time she comes looking for you, jumps on your lap, and it's like, I need to be on the camera. And you can see her walking around your legs and everything, and she just has to show herself, like, you know,
She
you got
does.
white on today, I've got my white today.
Yeah,
I need
she's-
to be on that camera.
She's blending in. She's definitively blending in. Anyway, let's get on with what I was talking about now. Now, some people have a problem, right? Not everyone's personal bits are big or straight, right? Some people have problems, and some people want to take people to court for it. Now, a husband who claimed it's after the watershed moment, so it's okay, I can talk about this. A husband who claims his penis was too bent to have sex with his wife, loses a bid to get health insurance firm AXA to pay for the straightening procedure. Now, he said he wants a straightening procedure, and he took AXA to court saying that out of his health insurance, that they should be paying for it. Now, the man, named only as Mr. W, was suffering from a condition called Peyronie's disease, which causes the male organ to curve when erect. So he wanted his private health insurance AXA to foot the bill of around £10,000 for him to have an operation to get it straightened, right? So Mr. W said although he could get an erection, the bend in the organ meant he was unable to have normal sex, right? So AXA paid for his initial consultations and tests, but refused to pay for the operation known as the Lou procedure, claiming it was excluded from the policy as it was a sexual dysfunction. And then they also rejected his claim the operation was medically necessary, although he couldn't have sex with his wife and he was not in any pain or discomfort. Now, he initially agreed with the decision, saying the problem was not a dysfunction because he was still able to get an erection. But the kink... Let me just compose myself. The kink made the sex impossible. So let's talk about this disease for a minute. Peyronie's disease is a condition that causes your nether regions to bend when it erects. So what does it do? It comes out and just goes like that. I'm happy. This is bend to the side. Anyway, it affects mainly men over 40, but can be suffered by younger men. Now, apparently it was named Clinton kink after the former US president reportedly suffered from this condition. That's Clinton. Now, it could be treated with medication, a sound wave procedure, which breaks down that hardened area of tissue. God, it sounds painful. Or surgery. So he took this case to the Financial Ombudsman Service, the FOS, claiming that AXA had acted unfairly in refusing to pay for his operation under his private medical insurance. But the Ombudsman agreed with AXA, ruling that Mr. W's aim... call him Mr. W as well. Mr. W's ailment was not excluded under the terms of his policy. So, he can't get a payout for it. So he's got to find £10,000 to get this kink straightened. Anybody else suffer from this? Anybody else want to reveal? Mixed Clouders, G-Force, you got Peyronie's disease? Do you have a kink?
Kinky. Spice Nice says, I hope HPQ can stay Sharky DJ. Shh, try to get rid of her. Oh. Okay. Now we've got a few minutes before we head to the ad break.
Exactly, and I wish I could stay, but I do still have things I need to do. When I meant overtime, I meant I could go all the way up to 10 o'clock today. Normally I jump out just before 10 or at least quarter to. Now, very quickly, we were talking about child abuse earlier on, and I don't want to end the news on this, but the message put in was, morning bro, I hear what you're talking about on radio, i.e. child abuse, and I didn't want to put this out on the web, but I don't mind if you tell the listeners without mentioning my name. In every UK council, they have child protection teams with social workers with overburdened workloads. Teams of 20 to 30 social workers, typical in London and other big cities. So just imagine the amount of children getting abused, killed, that goes unreported. I definitely understand this. I work as a foster carer, so I do understand the workloads of social workers and the unreported cases that go through. During COVID, it was even worse. The physical abuse of women and the child abuse cases were through the roof. As I was working as a proper adult in the police station, all I was seeing was dealing with people that were arrested for child or physical abuse of women. It was a lot. And we do know that the public services are overburdened. Probation officers, we don't have enough probation officers. We don't have enough social workers. We don't have enough carers. We've got child carers for parents that are having to look after their parents because the system doesn't allow for parents to be adequately resourced for in order for a child to have a normal life. So our country at the moment is in for a developed country. I feel like we're in dire straits sometimes. Our jails are overfull. We're having to let people out on early release. We're still jailing people for ridiculous things like sleeping with prisoners inside jails. I'll never let Sharky forget that one. You didn't even get that there, did you? You're too busy.
Yeah, sorry, a message was coming in there, so yeah. What did you say? Rewind that again.
No, I said our jails are full because we're putting people in jail like for wardens sleeping with prisoners.
Oh, right, yeah, I get it now, yeah.
But anyway, I do understand. I really do. And I just wish that our governments would actually look and say we're going to allocate money to resources that are needed. We've got lots of children moving away from their parents, lots of homeless children as well, lots of people that don't want to do foster caring because it's too much. Our children are too damaged. It's crazy out here right now with our children. And we're going to go to an ad break and we'll come back. And I think I'll have one more bit of news and then I've got to dash.
Okay.